first I'm going to record this for those people that aren't here. Okay, so it's officially recording, so just be careful because it's going to go on the Edpuzzle. But here, we're going to go over, let's see, I'm going to go over some of the problems. Let's see, right here. Here we go. Okay, so number one, the common thing I saw with number one was everyone was taking half of 16, but we have to remember that we're looking for a square root of 16. And so you have to remember that the square root of 16, right? So the square root of 16 actually equals 4. Okay, so that's part of it. Then the other was when you take x to the 8th, you're taking the square root of x to the 8th. And so again, square roots of x to any power, it's going to take half of that. So I think that was the problem that some people were coming into, is they couldn't really figure that out, or they were like, they forgot that. So they took the half of this one, so they got x to the 4th, but then they took half of 16 and got 8. So the correct answer to this one actually is, it should be plus or minus, right? Because that's in the front of our problem, plus or minus. And then it should be 4x to the 4th. Okay, so that was the answer to question number one. If you got it wrong, first off, if you didn't get something back from me, you need to make sure that it's in the grade book. And if it's not in the grade book, then you must not have turned it in or something like that. So make sure you do that. I am going to be a little bit more forgiving kind of this week since we're all starting, but starting next week, like as soon as it's not in, you're marked absent. I'm not going to go back and change it. So like if you didn't do it yesterday or you forgot to do it or something like that, like I guess I'll be a little lenient this time, but going forward, I'm not going to be. All right, letter B, and I was kind of confused on how some people actually responded to this one, because I'm not quite sure. Well, I have a feeling that you maybe looked it up on a different site or something like that. But for this one right here, first off, we know that it's negative, right? And then if we look, we see that this power 4 is right here, and then we're taking a square root, so it's half of that. So really the answer to this one is just q to the 3rd plus 5, and all of that to the 2nd power, because 4 divided by 2 would be 2. So again, if you have a question, you can just go ahead and unmute yourself and ask it. Yeah, so this one should just be negative x to the 3rd plus 5 to the 2nd. If you had something that was like q to the 6th plus 10, q to the 3rd plus 25, I mean, technically that's right, but I marked it wrong on your assignment because I don't care for you to expand this. I just wanted to make sure that you actually knew how to take care of this 4 right here and then a square root. Okay, now the next one, letter C. Some people were kind of confused on this one because you can see it's kind of small on my screen, but this is a power 5 right here. So it's a 5th root, and they didn't know what the 5th root of 243 was. Even some people put like the square root of 243. So I showed you in the video last time, and I'm glad to see a lot of you saw it, but if you're actually you can go to Desmos right here, and right here's the nth root, and so you can actually do 5 and then 243. So your answer then is going to be 3. Now notice if I put a to the 10th in there, it won't let me, right? It's going to be kind of confused about that, right? So you got to basically do each part separately. So to be the 5th root of 243, and so then that's going to be 3. So going back here, so my answer is going to start with 3, right? And then a to the 10th and then to the 1/5 power. If you think of it this way, a to the 10 divided by 5. Well, you know what 10 divided by 5 is. It's easy. 10 divided by 5 is 2, right? And then the next one would be b, and then to the power of, and then it's 15, but then divided by 5. 15 divided by 5 is 3, right? So there we go. So that right there is going to be our answer right there. And a lot of people got this question right as long as they got the first number correct. Okay, and then the next one, the square root of -4. So for some people, they just wrote not possible, undefined, all that kind of stuff. And that's true if you're taking the square root of a -4, like if you go to Desmos here, right? Okay, so this is going to be square root of -4. It says undefined. However, we know that this is not a real answer, right? This is an imaginary answer. So for this one, your For this one, your answer actually should have been, it should have been 2i was your answer, right? It should have been 2i. And if you didn't do that, or a lot of people were writing 4, I'm not entirely sure why they were writing 4. You didn't even take the square root, you just wrote 4 down. So I don't know what that was all about, but the answer for that one was 2i. And then the next ones down here were just a little bit different. Now, in the video that I did before, we talked about absolute values. And I said I don't really use absolute values when you're taking square roots, and I don't, right? So you don't have to worry about this one. The technical answer to this one is actually the absolute value. I think it's on here somewhere. The absolute value of t is the correct answer. But if you were just to put down t as an answer, that's totally fine too. I marked that one correct if you put down t, because so really what's going on here is what you're doing is you're doing t to the 6 divided by 6 power, and 6 divided by 6 is 1, but we generally don't write answers something to the 1 power, right? So we just would write it as t. Okay, so that was 2a. And then the last one, I got a bunch of different answers for this one. Again, expanding this out to the 3rd power. You didn't need to expand it out to the 3rd power. In fact, I don't know why you would. But anyway, so if you're taking the 5th root of 243, again, we can do it on here, right? So I go the nth root. So the 5th root of 243 is 3, which helps us because then we can go, we'd write it as 3. And then this, if you think of it this way, x plus 2 to the power of 15 divided by 5. Well, you know that 15 divided by 5 is 3 right there. And so, so this would be our answer right here. And again, quite a few people got this one right. And so that's good. So hopefully going over these, I know it's kind of quick and I went through them pretty fast. They, it makes a little bit more sense doing it this way. This one right here, I want to really make sure you're able to do this problem, okay, and this problem right here. If you got those wrong, and again, what I did for your assignments is I basically took like a screenshot of it, and then I wrote on it and sent it back to you. So you should have some feedback. If you want to redo your problems and get 100% on it, I am totally fine with that. I'm totally cool with that. But again, you're going to have to rewrite the whole thing out again, send it to me in email, and then I'll grade it and change the grade book. Remember, that is also how attendance is taken, is if you do your assignment. Now, I know you're all muted, so again, I let you unmute yourself. So I want to hear your guys' feedback on an idea that I have. I had a couple people respond to me about a Zoom session yesterday, like a work session. But I'm wondering if anyone, I think Miss Smith had like a Zoom room kind of idea earlier in the week where she just kind of was on and you guys could just pop in and ask a question during our time. And I guess our time is from 9 to 10 on Mondays and Thursdays here. But I guess I could also do it other times too if you wanted. But does anyone like that idea, or anyone think that was a good idea or anything?
Sure.
Sure, you like that idea? What time do you think?
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah?
Yeah. You
Okay.
do that.
Because, and I know that there was an issue earlier about like signing up for sessions on my office hours thing. I think I kind of screwed that up. That was my fault. I think I changed it now that you can actually go on it, but if you want to ever do that, you can just you can go on there or email me. Some other people emailed me too, which was easy too.
Okay.
Is that okay? Does anyone
Sounds good.
like that idea? Not like that idea?
Like the idea.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Like that idea?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right. I'm going to stop sharing this real quick. I'm just going to do attendance real quick with people that are here. Make sure everybody's here. Oh, Bailey wrote on there to go through 6-5 assignment. I'll look at 6-5 assignment. We'll quickly go over a couple problems. Bailey, is there one that you specifically wanted to look at? Here, hold on, everybody. Actually, I don't know. Is there a different way to do this? Everybody's here. I want to make sure you're all marked present here, so you don't have to. I think you should be.
What? Is everybody smart?
Present.
Yeah.
That's smart. There you go. Back to bed.
Might as well. You're on that. So talking.
All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. Hold on one second, guys. I'm gonna stop my video for. Well, actually, no. I'll just hold on one sec. I'll be right back.
How's life? All right. Pretty boring, honestly.
I know.
Yeah, I actually want to go back to school.
Dude, I'm doing more work online than I was at school.
I know.
This is gay. Hey, and you're so mean. What even is that?
Is that Peyton
I don't
and Kaden like on the same computer, or like what's going on there?
That was Kaden Bosch.
All right, I'm
No,
back.
it says
I'm
Kaden
sorry.
Wilson.
Let's see. All right. So, we'll look at 6-5 real quick and just. Has anyone watched the video for 6-5 yet?
No.
No. That's also today's assignment, and I know it's like what we have to go to the Zoom and do that. Well, hopefully the Zoom is a quick because I'm planning on being done here in the next 5-10 minutes. So it'll just be a quick pop in just to make sure everybody's here, make sure you're all obviously you can still see me, and if you have any questions to pop in this week. Yesterday's assignment was a little bit more straightforward. Sometimes there's gonna be harder ones and stuff like that. But if you ever have an issue or anything like that, just let me know and I can help you out. Okay, so here let's look at 6-5's assignment. Okay, so 6-5 here. What we're doing is we're talking about operations with radical expressions. So if you look at number 1, okay, for this one right here, it's very similar to what we did earlier. Now the difference is you see we're doing a 4th root of 64. And if I go on to Desmos here and I do a 4th root, right? Check this out, 4th root of 64, you'll notice it's not a whole number, right? And we don't want to write all the decimals and that kind of stuff out. So what you have to do is you have to break it up and say, okay, well, what can I change 64 in? Like what are the factors of 64? Okay, and so if I do 32, again, that's a decimal, so 64 and 2 doesn't work. If if we do 16, that's actually 2, right? And so then if we do that 16 times 4, that's 64. And you'll notice that's when the decimal comes into play. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write 2 for this one. I'd write 2. Okay. It would be 2, and then it would be the 4th root. I guess I should write it like this. 2, and then the 4th root of 4, actually, because the 4th root of 16 is 2, and then it'd be the 4th root of 4 right here, which is not 1, and that's something that people are going to probably get wrong. The 4th root of 4 is not 1, it's a decimal, right? And then the nice thing is check this out. So then we would do like a to the 4 divided by 4. Well, you know what 4 divided by 4 is? It's just 1, right? So then you just get a. And then the next one would be b to the power of 4 divided by 4. Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so we just write it as that. And so here's our answer now for question number 1, right? 2 to the 4th root of 4, and then ab. Now, some people, another way you could have written this, and some people maybe would write it out like this, and that's fine. 2ab, and then you'd put in the 4th root of, it'd be the 4th root of 4. Okay, that's another way to write it. Both of them are correct. Either way is correct, and I would adjust both accordingly. Number 2, we're taking the 3rd root of 2 over the 3rd root of 3. So you'll see in the video that you have to break that up. Here you're just multiplying. Here we're combining, but you want what's underneath the square root to be the same. And so you'll have to break those down. 5, and then 6 is multiplying by the bottom, you'll see, has a square root in it, and we don't like that. And so you'll find out in the video today we multiply that by something specific. Okay? Any other questions? I know probably looking at this problem before you've watched the video is maybe a little overwhelming, but hopefully by watching the video it might be a little bit easier. Okay? All right. Any other questions?
No.
We all good?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. Well, I'll figure the Zoom thing out a lot better. You know, I try and pride myself on being more technology savvy, but apparently I'm not. So I'll get it figured out for next week. Okay, so here's another question. Those of you who want to answer, would you want, because I could schedule a Zoom meeting Monday morning at 9 o'clock or Thursday morning at 9 o'clock next week. Which would you prefer to do?
Thursday.
Thursdays? Yeah, same. Everyone's kind of saying Thursdays. Okay. All right. So we'll do Thursday next week, 9 o'clock. Again, today is only like 20 minutes long. So I'll try and keep it a little bit short, but yeah, I'll try and keep them short a little bit. So it's not too bad, pretty manageable for everybody. Okay. All right. Well, good job today, everybody. And have a great rest of your week. We'll talk to you later.